welcome to April's sales recap for the Bricklink and Brickowl stores. The usual content with a few new things thrown in as well. So the month's highlights: 1,000 YouTube subscribers reached. So thank you to everybody that's played a part in that. Nobody's paid. Anyone that's played a part in getting me there. It's been a roller coaster ride, hasn't it? Kind of rocketing along in, what was it, 10 months or something like that. And it's continued to kind of tick along nicely since then. I haven't done any YouTube shorts for a little while now, so I need to get those back up with the minifigure series. But something for next week. As anyone that's watched the vlogs or will watch this week's when it comes out, will know it's been pretty busy. We briefly cracked the top 13 in stores in Australia for part count. We're in the top 16, is it, for lot count? But obviously, with things being kind of busy this week, kind of the store has kind of lost a lot of that traction. We've kind of slipped down a little bit, as you'll see. Been fantastic kind of increase in kind of engagement, communication, people reaching out and conversation around stores and just people helping each other out. So massive shout out to those people, you know who you are, that kind of, we have little chats, little jokes, stuff like that. Kind of, I'm really enjoying that. It's nice because you spend a lot of time kind of doing this, you know, on your own. You know, your interactions are limited to the postman, people in shops, you know, your mates and stuff like that. So it's really nice to have that shared engagement with kind of the LEGO Bricklink community and, you know, some of the buyers that come and collect and pick up. So thanks to everybody, really enjoying that. And kind of interestingly, whilst the store was closed for 5 days during April even, which only gave us 25 sales days, revenue increased 20% if you compare that versus the 31 days in March, even though the actual sales figure was down, the actual daily revenue was up. So whilst the figures for April perhaps don't tell the full story, they are obviously fairly transparent, but the upward trajectory of that, given the daily revenue, is an interesting one, and we'll see what that does through May, given that we've also got kind of the May the 4th promo going on, which will hopefully increase the value of sales as people try to reach that $75 threshold. And if you haven't watched the May the 4th promo giveaway video, please do. It's on the channel. It's a blue tile with Commander Cody Brickhead. You could be in to win the Force of Creativity book by spending on the store. So this kind of starts to tell the story of kind of how we peaked and then sales have kind of been driving us down, and this has continued into May. Hopefully we'll start to be able to address this next week, getting some more parts into the store. But it's a continual battle for anyone that's got a Bricklink or Brickowl store, making sure that you've got inventory, lots, stock, keeping coming to replenish what you do. Having sold 32,000 parts in April, that's a lot of parts to replenish. Sales by platform, Bricklink dominating this month. I think Brickowl has slowed down a lot of the places. A fair few of the vlogs that I watch, that's happened as well, but that's quite a drop from 80%. It's gone to 87, so a 7% swing in favour of Bricklink this month. But new versus used remaining at the same level, even though there was a fair amount of used added in during March or April, one of the two, can't remember, it was probably April. That hasn't really impacted in the amount of it sold, which is interesting to me anyway. It goes to show that perhaps used levels remain fairly steady when you've got a majority of new parts in the store. People are pretty much coming to you for new as opposed to used, and used is an addition to their purchases when you don't have the quantity of new that they want, perhaps. Don't know. If you've got thoughts on that, you know, if your experiences are different, please do comment down below. I'd love to know your experiences on that. The all interesting sales by colour, dark blue grey, light blue grey, black, white, Star Wars colours all the way. Reddish brown, tan, dark tan, green, obviously become very popular. Not that they weren't for Endor and things like that, but certainly with the medieval and the castle kind of stuff, they've really come to the fore. Dark red always floating around, pretty much kind of sits within both those medieval and Star Wars categories. So total sales in April was a drop from March's 187, a 7% drop to 174, and revenue dropping 3.18%. But as I said, the actual daily spend was up 20%, given that there was 31 days in March and only 25 open during April. Items sold increased 32,661, so that's an 11.5% increase, which kind of explains how the daily total was up. Had we had 5 more open days, I think we'd seen another month of increases in that department, but it shows that month on month we are kind of increasing, although March should be in red because it was down from February, but April has topped February, even though a similar month, 28 days versus 25, so interesting. I know I keep saying interesting, I'll stop that. So there's the daily sales as the chart that you're used to seeing. The trends, kind of difficult to pick from this, so I've looked at this another way. You can see there where the store was closed over a weekend, which not ideal, but it's the way it is. Pretty steady, kind of no particular pattern. Good sales over the weekends generally, although the first weekend wasn't particularly good. Probably because that was kind of was that just after Easter? I think it was, wasn't it? That was the first weekend after Easter, and then kind of finished with a flurry at the end of the month, real peak before we headed into May the 4th, which did surprise me. I thought that would remain quiet as people kind of stockpiled cash for May the releases, and obviously Lego's got a heap of releases in May and again in June. There's so much stuff coming out, but it's a good sign that kind of peaked. But what I've done is re-looked at this versus days, and as you can see, kind of Wednesdays, Fridays and Saturdays are the slowest days, whilst a Tuesday and a Sunday are the days where people kind of go for it. And kind of Tuesday and Sunday reflected across March and April remain the two strongest days. Brickowl pretty flat across the lot, really. There's no particular pattern when you take the 2 months into consideration, but kind of I'm going to keep tracking this because I think it's a good reflection of where sales peak and where they don't. Obviously Sunday, maybe people have got more time on their hands. Tuesday, people are into the week, maybe they're thinking about the weekend. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, people just kind of don't buy an awful lot, but it's a good, for me anyway, it's kind of good to see, because that means you want to be getting stock in on Friday and Saturday. You want to be everything in your store ready for the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday kind of feed. I've been through this in the actual daily vlog, but kind of these are just the headline stats. We started the month with 475,684 parts in the store. That has gone down to almost by 10,000 as I'm recording this, and it will continue to go. Lots has probably dropped by a couple of hundred as well. Bricklink fans ticking along nicely, growing steadily, and I kind of used the subscribers, of which there wasn't an awful lot to the store, to advertise the May the 4th promo. I'm not sure how you kind of convert fans into subscribers so you can actually reach out to them. The average sales per day continues to be fairly steady. December, the only kind of period where that's been kind of way off mark, but kind of that 6 to 5.8 has been steady as she goes. YouTube subscribers, obviously I said we passed that 1,000 mark, and I think we're past kind of 174 or some 1,074 now, but at the beginning of the month we started with 1,060 and 16,567 views. As I said, I haven't done any of the minifigure shorts this month so far, so that probably is going to have a big impact on that. Instagram ticking along nicely as well. Kind of, I've used that to promote the May the 4th promo this month as well. Kind of did a little boost post on that. Don't know whether that's really driven any more engagement, but it does provide some more stats. So I'll probably spend some time looking at those in the future and see what kind of might be interesting for this presentation. Victoria returned to the top of the pile in terms of buyer locations. WA continuing to be steady, with a fair few of those being collections, which is nice because it does kind of give you a chance to chat to some of the buyers and see what they're into. You know, some buyers are making kind of train mocks, some people are into kind of building rockets and space orientated things. So it's good. It kind of gives you an insight into perhaps what kind of parts people might be interested in the future. And overseas remain steady, which is good. And you know, New Zealand still topping the table there. New Zealand, and then probably the United States. So as I said, kind of where we are at the moment, we did pop up to 13th in Australia overall. We're back down to 15th at the moment, which means we've climbed one on since March's kind of stats, which is good. Kind of 468. We're not far away from the 14th spot, but when we started the month, obviously kind of we took a kick in and we've kind of dropped a fair few thousand parts since then. Work to do with the rest of the month to try and kind of get us back up there. But in terms of the WA space, no change there. We're still sitting at 5, with Bricks Warehouse still pulling away from everybody, which, you know, the biggest in Australia by a country mile still. Ooh, wrong way. So May's objectives, anyone that's kind of been following the vlogs will know we are relocating the store to a bigger room, try and create a bit more of a flow to the work and a bit more space for storage. Big push towards the second half of this month to try and get back up to that 475 plus parts and 12,000, continue to kind of keep in that 12,000 plus lots. Gonna do another push on the promotional stuff for the May the 4th giveaway, which I think I must have mentioned like 50 times so far this, so if you haven't watched the video, go and watch it. Just trying some different things, see what works, kind of to drive some sales in the store. Not particularly feeling that it's driving additional purchases, but perhaps it's kind of creating a higher value per purchase. We'll see by the end of the month. It'll be a good comparison, I think. I've been toying with the idea of kind of adding a store aspect to the website in terms of being able to sell sets there. Don't really sell a lot of sets on Bricklink, and I think that's because you've got to be there to search for it, whilst people might be searching for sets more Google orientated. I know you could do it on eBay, but you pay a lot of fees, and you've got to kind of, you know, really you'd need to set it up as a store to make it feel authentic. So, you know, I've got a fair few rarer sets that, you know, I wouldn't mind offloading. I don't really want to stick them on Marketplace. I don't want to stick them on eBay because you just lose a load of money. Everyone wants a deal. So that's one thing I'm going to consider with. And I'm going to do some new how-to videos as well, because it's been a while since I've done any of those. So plenty to do, as always. But that's pretty much May. So thanks for watching. I hope you found it interesting. If you've got questions, things you want to see in these in the future, please leave a comment down below. And I shall see you next time.